Det här är Teach Me Sweden, en podcast om svensk historia med en stor portion humor. Två komiker försöker lära varandra svensk historia. Jag heter Erik Broström.
And I'm Jonathan Rollins, and in this episode I'll be teaching Erik all about one of the 7 wonders of Sweden.
Och jag vet att ni hajar direkt vad vi pratar om. Alla har hört talas om the 7 wonders of Sweden, speciellt den här.
Yes, it's a lot of water, it's a lot of digging, and it's a lot of money involved, and a couple kings.
Oh yeah, och det finns många filmer om den här. Jag har då fan inte sett dem, men Janne Loffe Karlsson är med.
All right, stay tuned.
Boom! Some mommy kissing Santa Claus.
Underneath the best version of that song, hands down, Michael Jackson, right?
Oh, with Jackson 5, yeah. It's sweet. He sings a little off key. It's charming.
Never thought about him singing off key.
Yeah.
Don't you talk about Michael Jackson.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know he was a house god.
You didn't know.
Men alltså barn sjunger alltid lite falskt. Det är
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He can't help it. He did all right. And then he didn't. Fame.
Fame.
Nej, men det är en bra version, det är det.
Yes, it's the best. It's the best.
Yeah.
I am, if you don't know anything about this podcast, you just tuned in randomly, then what you're about to hear
is crazy.
It's insanity. Packaged in a history. We're going to talk about something from Swedish history that our colleague doesn't know anything about. This time I actually know about it, and I'm going to teach Erik a little piece of Sweden.
Ooh, but you didn't know beforehand?
No, I didn't. I had to do the research and figure it out because neither one of us know much about history. It's not our thing.
Ingenting.
No. So I'm going to go through it now. I'm going to be teaching, and I think you're going to like it.
I am excited.
And we do tell each other basically so that we don't step on each other's story.
A bit
kind of what it's about.
Yeah. But century, start there.
Yes. And I said mine is a landmark. I didn't give you a time frame.
No.
It's a Swedish landmark because it spans so much time.
That's it's very spännande, säger jag. I already used exciting.
Spännande tider.
Spännande tider. Jonathan ska berätta om ett landmark. Jag är entusiastisk. Jag låter sarkastisk, men jag vill veta.
Okay.
Kör nu.
The year is 1525.
It is? Sweet.
And legend has it that Bishop Hans Brask.
Brasklappen?
I don't think it's the same guy.
Okay, fine.
Probably related to him.
Yeah. Han heter Hans Brask.
Was the Brasklappen Hans Brask?
I think so.
I was wondering if it's the same guy. I even looked him up.
It's the same vicinity
year time, yeah. It might have been the famous Brask. I told my wife about that. She was impressed that I knew about Brasklappen.
Oh, cool.
But if you want to hear about that, go back and listen to our series about Gustav Vasa.
Yeah.
But Bishop Hans Brask proposed building a large canal in Sweden that would connect Vättern and Vänern, which are the 2 largest lakes in the entire country of Sweden.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is that Göta Canal?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. I know nothing.
Okay. Yeah. This would create a direct connection between the Baltic Sea and the Kattegat.
Yeah.
Which is a 30,000 square kilometer sea area in the south of Sweden.
Crazy.
Or near the south, Sweden and Denmark in that area.
Yeah.
And this will obviously make it easier for trading goods and whatnot. And there have been plans for waterways such as this to be created, but nothing had come of it just yet. And things remained as they were through the 1500s and 1600s, even though they were talking about, let's possibly make this thing.
Yeah.
Make a canal. And then in 1801, hundreds of years later.
Wow.
1801, there's this dude named Baltzar von Platten.
I recognize that name. I have no info, but Yeah.
Baltzar von Platten was elected to the board of the Trollhätte Canal, and over time, the idea of a joint route between Vänern and Vättern in the Baltic Sea came up. He's like, "This seems like a good idea." Yeah. Remember that thing that old Brasklapp was talking about?
Minns du den gamla brasklappen? Han hade något där.
Or maybe he was reading about the Brasklapp. Where did that come from?
Yeah. He looked it up. A canal?
What an idea! This is Braslappen. So he studied the areas relevant for the canal through travels. He presented his thoughts. He had a document called the Treatise on Canals through Sweden. And Gustav den fjärde Adolf, of course, he thought, it's a great idea. I'm changing the motherfucking world. Let's fucking do it.
That sounds like a Swedish king.
Yeah.
And his mentality.
But wasn't he kind of like that? He's the guy that, or was it den tredje?
Gustav den tredje var han blev skjuten på maskeradbalen, Babidi Bip-Bop.
Wasn't the fjärde, didn't he do a lot of changes?
Jo, men var inte inte Gustav den fjärde Adolf som blev smått sinnessjuk? Tror jag.
Okay.
I think it's...
All right, so I'm mixing my Gustavs up.
Yeah, that's a lot of Gustavs. Yeah.
But in February 1808, Gustav den fjärde decided to undertake and complete the matter of national interest in its entirety. So he's like, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
So, kings still have some influence. So in 1809, I think they were still doing the one-day Riksdag thing.
Yeah.
And they issued a letter to the king requesting to start working on the canal.
Okay.
So like, let's make this happen.
Yeah, just gotta decide.
And they said it would be best, according to the states, for individuals to contract it out. Ooh. And let labor for digging and etc. be provided by infantry regiments, the military.
Yeah.
And for reasonable wages, of course. And gunpowder for blasting, that could come from the crown too. It's like these are ways that we can pay for this. And nearby forests could be used for the construction work, as well as the lime quarrying and burning lime for the mortar and stuff like that. And then finally, they said that the company that took over the canal will receive like the canal as this property, kind of.
Okay.
And get some perks because they got this actual land.
Okay.
And some of the states were like, sounds like a plan. I like that. You get some perks. You get access to this cool new canal. Maybe you can put like some trading post or something like that there.
Maybe a small cafe.
A little cafe, exactly. And the hard work will be contracted out. You ain't really got to do all that shit. You know what I mean? And but then there was also some resistance. They were worried that Sweden had been reduced to 2/3 of its original size because they lost Finland.
Oh yeah.
So they're like, so then people said, this was something that quoted. It said, one should be afraid of the land one had left, and not by useless digging reduce the space for the diligent cultivator and fill with infertile water the tracts of land which could produce timothy, clover, etc., fodder, plants, and even food for the people. So they're like...
Okej, men det är ju inte någon stor... Herregud. De menar att man kan använda marken till att så...
Yeah, it's like, yeah, why would we take this away? We could use this we could cultivate the ground.
Why have water when we want to grow things?
It was just like thinking about losing something. Like, we already lost Finland. What would happen? All of these trees I can't walk through.
No more land, please.
All this land for us 7 million people, max. In the 1800s.
But this is my favorite spot.
1/10 of us live abroad. We're the most traveled people in the world. What do we do with all this land that we leave all the time?
Tänk på våra känslor.
I have a summer house and a regular house. What do I do?
Jag drar till USA. Där bygger de inga kanaler.
Stay away from my summer house and my regular house while I'm gone and living abroad.
Det ligger precis mellan Vänern och Vättern. Don't touch it!
So then Baltzar von Platten, he was like, nah, bro. This is a quote. Nah, bro. You gotta look at the positive. Okay. Traffic on the canal is gonna save the farmers so much shuttle and other driving that it's corresponding to at least 360,000 man days and 800,000 horse days of travel that would be required without this canal.
Almost perfect quotation, but I believe he finished with, know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying? Yeah, my bad. I deleted it. Know what I'm saying? And he said, but for food and maintenance requirements, according to my calculation, the yield is nearly 30 times as much soil as the canal removed. So it's a win for everybody.
Wow, yeah.
That was his argument, and
Good
it just
argument.
shut him down.
Yeah.
So in 1809's May Day came around, and a bill for this cool canal introduced, and the bill recommended outsourcing to the building company and borrowing 1.2 million riksdaler. I know what you're wondering. How much is this?
You looked it up.
It's equivalent to 227 million kroner today.
That's big, right?
I think it's big, especially when you're like, hey, man.
If it's government size, I don't know. But
we're going to dig. We're going to dig with it.
It sounds big.
But more was spent on coronavirus.
Yeah.
Or like vaccine, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
At that time, they were spending a bunch.
Yeah. And there wasn't that much to spend on. I mean,
well,
it's a lot of money. Like, it's a big investment. Like,
and then and watch us dig this thing that's gonna make us money.
Yeah,
sure. In 10 years.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of. So the bill was approved, of course, and the funds were granted. There was a belief that this would be profitable. Investors turned up, and the value of the project increased because investors were like, "I want some share." They were buying shares to this whole thing. Mm-hmm. So everybody's like, oof, now I'm going to have a stake in this canal project. So now the plan was to make it even bigger and better. We got a little more money. Let's do it. So they decided to dig it 3 meters deep in order to make room for the largest possible vessels at that time. Yeah. That could hold up to 200 tons so that they can navigate Göta Canal.
Yeah.
On April 12th, 1810, Baltzar von Platen got permission to build the canal officially. King Carl the 13th tasked von Platen with Thomas Telford, the British canal builder. They always bring in the British for these things,
I guess.
So look at it. All right.
I'll see, Governor. What we have here is a canal.
You dig it, and then you open it up to the water.
I've been building canals all around the world. I have.
So he got called in by the government to more closely outline the waterways between the Baltic Sea, Vänern, and then Telford. Telford had come to Sweden at a royal invitation in 1806 already, 3 years before that, to lead and carry out the planning of the. So he knew this was about to go down. So he had some engineers with him then, and together with his chief mechanic Samuel Bagge, they came. Telford came into contact with von Platen, but von Platen wasn't a trained engineer. As you could probably tell by the name, the guy in charge, von Platen, is just a fucking aristocrat.
Yeah. It's just a noble.
Just a noble.
Yeah.
So he wasn't trained or anything. So he was bringing people in to like help him kind of see what's supposed to happen. He don't know shit about canals. Yeah. But he was in charge.
That's good.
So then he was like writing letters to Telford. Tell me more. Excuse me, Mr. Telford. But they made him chairman of the canal company.
Telford or
no, von Platen.
Von Platen.
Of course, of Telford.
No.
It's not
kan
even
man
Swedish.
Bygga kanalen ovanför jorden vid ett tillfälle?
Vad gör man med vatten då?
Ja. Kan det sväva kanske? Går det att få? Jag har pengar.
Exactly, unlimited. So he was chairman of the company, and then he decided to leave the government, von Platen. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to privately run this company in 1812. And he decided to devote himself entirely to getting this canal done.
Well, could he spot the project with his own money, or was he still using the government's money?
Well, this was going to be. They got the money from the government. Yeah, and investors and stuff. But yeah, it's mostly government money.
Okay.
He devoted himself to canal working, and he fought in parliamentary debates because now they were like, shit's not really happening. Okay. You know what I mean? They're like, we're giving you this money. You're just digging a hole in the ground. Like, can we see something else? And then they're asking for more money every year too. because it's a big project. In May, this a month after they got the approval, they started putting the first sods in. They started the first break in the ground, and with the help of a preliminary proposal by the water builder, the canal staked out. Start digging it out.
Yeah.
And the parliament decided when they started this that it's going to be a 10-year project.
Okay.
All right. The work suffered greatly at the beginning because von Platen hadn't put together a plan.
No.
For this thing. He didn't draw it up in advance. So he's just like, we'll play it by ear, man.
Vi prövar att gräva med tandpetare.
And then in 1817, which I don't know if you're counting, this is 10 years later.
Yeah.
They still didn't know how many of the, I guess they're called locks, that like go into the ground.
Okay.
Would be needed and where they would be placed.
Okay.
In the ground. So the work they were just incurring more costs, and they had to make more adjustments, which incurs more costs and then man hours and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they had to make adjustments on the fly because of a lack of planning.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a lot of these stories that go like this.
Undrar om det
put a noble in charge.
Ja, men förutom typ länder som aldrig haft så, liksom stort noble thing. Undrar om det alltid har varit så i alla länder. Det måste ha varit så. Med alla ställen där
rub somebody, scratch somebody's back and give them the job?
No, but yeah, kind of like every place that has rich people that has decided things.
Yep,
things
probably.
has gone awry.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Several of the engineers were also initially unaccustomed to this kind of work. And then they said, you know what? I'm not used to this work. You need to pay me more.
Ooh.
So then they were getting charged more. It feels weird if you're inexperienced to ask for more money.
Yeah.
But that's what they did. Baltzar von Platen himself wasn't really well versed in the technical field, and he relied on a lot of what other people told him. He didn't really know shit. But he put energy into perfecting his own stuff by like studying engineering and like trying to learn himself up so he could be good. So he's trying.
That's cool.
Yeah.
A for effort.
Yeah. And he studied here and abroad. So he was like, wherever I can go to learn. Maybe, they didn't say where, but maybe he went to England. I'm guessing he probably went to England.
Jag ska plugga till ingenjör. Vart då? Saint-Tropez!
Yes. The Maldives. Already in 1813, the estimated construction costs for the canal were exceeded. Ran through the money. By the end of the year, they 800,000 riksdaler, I didn't get that calculation, have been spent in addition to the estimated cost. And yet, barely more than a quarter of the canal was completed.
Jesus.
So now they're 2 mil in the hole.
Ooh.
In addition, it was almost only the most easily worked sections that were dug through. So like the rest of the work was going to be harder. So they did the easy shit first. So it's going to get even harder.
Börja med det svåra. Det är alltid börja med det svåra. Det är bättre.
Yeah, exactly. Management proposed the shareholders. They were like, all right, I know we started in 1807. We think we'll be done by the end of 1823. At a cost of roughly 4.5 million riksdaler.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay.
Started with 1.2. However, they were unreliable.
Yeah.
Because they're still not, they're a quarter of the way done. In 1822, the Västgöta line of the canal was finally completed enough that it could be inaugurated by King Carl den XIV Johan.
Okay. Yeah,
so,
that's Bernadotte. That's our current lineage.
Okay. Yeah, and they made it a big deal. And then after this supposed success, because they're like almost like breaking, like the king comes and they do a whole ceremony, and then they come to the realization that this is gonna cost a little bit more money. Your Highness, Your Majesty. The Parliament meeting of 1823 resulted in another 2.3 mil requested.
Jesus.
The Parliament,
oh my God.
and the Parliament is like
another 2.3
million, and the Parliament is like, hands are kind of tied because otherwise you just got a ditch in the ground.
Hål i Sverige.
Yeah. So you can't even use that ground, and you don't have a canal. So they're like, all right, I guess I got to do it. Pinched their nose, agreed to it, 2.3 mil. And then in 1828, they requested another 800,000 more. And it still has been 18 years since then. So it went on until 1832.
Uh-huh.
They started in 1807.
Was it finished 1832?
1832, September 26th. It was finally open at a cost of 9 million riksdaler, which today is about 17.8 billion crowns.
Wow.
In total, during the 22 years of construction,
Yeah.
58,000 soldiers from 16 different regiments participated and worked on the excavation, the digging.
Yeah.
A smaller part of the workforce consisted of Russian deserters.
Really?
I do not want to live in my country anymore.
Oh my God.
You know what? Can you help us dig a ditch?
Yeah, I can dig a little. What is it, like a 2 feet ditch?
No. 9 feet, actually. 3 meters.
That's insane. Do you have vodka? Oh, that's very... No. Bad,
No,
Eric.
you don't touch my Peruvian night treasures.
Don't try to get your firewater made by having my
By our
Peruvian
plants.
night treasures.
Beautiful decorations. And there were POWs that voluntarily joined,
Mm-hmm.
and there were private workers. So they had a lot of people, men and women, digging this canal.
Mm.
A day's work lasted 12 hours.
Oh.
And the digging of the canal was mostly done by hand with metal shovels.
What do you mean hand?
By hand. You hold your shovel and you dig.
Oh,
it.
I saw they digging with their hands.
No, but it wasn't like they didn't have machines.
No, of course. Yeah.
But there were tools available for land and water work too. But it was mostly done with fucking shovels.
It's crazy.
Göta Canal.
Yeah.
And I've seen it so many times.
Yeah. I haven't seen... Have you seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
No. It's a big movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
There's 4 of them.
Uh-oh. I hope I'm not way off on my facts here.
No,
we're always
these
spot
are
on
just,
with our facts.
These are just comedies. I don't think they have anything to do with the construction.
Okay. Among the heavier work was cutting stone to make those locks.
Yeah.
And at most, around 7,000 men dug at one time, but the workforce normally consisted of 2,000 to 3,000 people.
Shit.
And mostly soldiers. There was strict discipline maintained. They devoted 4 hours on holidays to exercise and 4 days a week to target shooting. So they still had to do their military duties and then come and fucking dig. Yeah.
Crazy.
The daily allowance.
But they looked fabulous.
Oh my, your hands. Are you digging by hand?
I sure am, miss. Don't you mean missus? Bum, bum, bum.
The daily allowance for the rank and file soldiers amounted to 13 shillings and 4 pence.
Yeah.
Which was paid by the canal company that had the whole project.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were making a profit and were paying workers shit.
Of course.
But it must be nice for military. You probably still have a salary and then you get like
fully extra.
Yeah. So that probably look like a win-win for them, but
yeah.
I'm sure the company made out. Each soldier that took part in the work received a silver medal with Karl Johann's image, Karl the 14th Johann's image, and an inscription.
I want to give that away as a Christmas gift. Oh, vad är det här? Ett mynt med mig på.
The canal had a heyday during a half a century, like for 50 year, like a 50-year heyday. Because it was early industrialism in Sweden at the time.
Yeah. And
in addition to the task as a transport route from coast to coast, the canal meant an opportunity for heavier transport and efficient freight transport to be part of the world that wasn't possible before. So you reach some places you couldn't reach.
That's cool.
And it was good with localization, several industries. One of them is Motala Verkstad. Mm-hmm. It's one of the most important. It was mentioned a bunch in here. But the canal also stimulated activities in Gothenburg and Stockholm at a very decisive degree. Initially, it was of great importance, this canal.
Yeah.
That took 18 years to get going. Freight was large. In total, the amount of goods reached 100,000 tons a year.
Shit.
Yeah. And then in the 1870s, railways come in.
Oh.
And that transport was catching up. and it meant that the canal freight fell in one swoop. Boom, 80% off. 80% drop in efficiency because people were like, I can move it by train.
Men gick det så fort? För jag menar, okej, vi fick en telefon, men vi skickade fortfarande brev ett tag. Liksom posten hade en funktion om man ville nå någon. I don't know.
I think it went fast because it's not people, it's not individuals, it's companies.
That's true. Yeah.
And you're like, I need to get this there fast, and then you realize, oh, this gets there faster.
That's true. Yeah.
And probably cheaper.
Yeah.
Or I mean, faster is more important than the price, probably.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
So it was 80% drop off. The only thing, there were 3 types of cargo that was still like mainly used in this transport in the canal, and that's forest products, coal, and ore. But none of these needed to be moved quickly.
Yeah.
You don't have to hurry up and move fucking trees.
No.
Timber. Really got to get this timber, man. Oh, what am I gonna do?
You know, the best timber is the slow-moving timber.
Exactly. Both passenger and freight traffic stagnated and never recovered.
Oh, that's sad.
18 years and 18 billion. And then there was a toll that was out there that they used to take money from this toll, and then they got rid of that toll. It was called the Öresund toll, and it was abolished in 1857. So that's another revenue stream that's gone.
Yeah.
They had a boost in a little bit later because there was a blockade during the wars. So then people started moving stuff. Yeah. So that was a good thing that it existed. The train
couldn't move?
The train was moving something else.
Good point. Yeah.
Human cargo. Yeah. Although shipping declined, the canal retained its importance for sea freight to coastal cities on the Great Lakes, albeit the 1930s, with increasing competition from bus and truck traffic that's coming in now. Now we got roads getting in. And then after 1950, we got vehicles and shit. We're driving on the right side of the road now. Traffic declined rapidly. And there was just the Trollhätte Canal, it was called. That was the only thing that was being used. And then it was just like all they had was tourism.
Yeah.
Göta Canal tourism.
Yeah.
Then there was a rapid growth of boating in the 70s. And that really helped movement on the Göta Canal.
Yeah.
Because people get their boats and they go out on the canal.
And it's a summer activity thing.
And go to different places and all that stuff. So they upgraded it. So they were like, shit, well, let's make it look nice.
Yeah.
They upgraded the canal. Tourists had slowly decided to take a little interest. Like, oh, what is this thing, And then it became a tourist attraction. And already in the 1920s, large numbers of people started going and checking out this Göta Canal.
Yeah.
And that pretty much saved it and instead of it being a total bust.
And I guess the first movie in like late 70s or early 80s maybe?
Probably helped. Yeah.
It's about a race.
Okay.
Along Göta Canal.
Okay.
With a bunch of rich people. This is so embarrassing. I haven't seen it. I've seen Swedish movies, of course, but I haven't seen Göta Canal.
I haven't seen it. Of course not. It celebrated its 175th anniversary in 2007. And then there was a vote that year. And it was voted one of Sweden's 7 wonders.
See, we have to... Vi kan inte fortsätta hålla på så här och prata om Trelleborg kan inte vara Miami. Odenplan kan inte vara Broadway. Och Göta Canal kan inte vi har inte 7 stycken. Det finns inte 7 saker att se. Och det är inte underverk. Vi måste ta ner det lite. Var är vår jantelag?
Exactly. That's what you needed.
Okay, it's one. What may the other 6 wonders be? I wonder.
I almost want to check, man.
Yeah.
No,
that's an episode.
That's an episode.
Don't touch it.
The 7 wonders. Oh my God, that'll be fun. We gotta do that.
Yeah.
In high season, it takes about 5 to 7 days to travel through the canal.
Yeah.
And in low season, about 3 to 4 days. And the old tow paths that the boats pull them on.
Yeah.
They're now a popular cycling route.
Oh, cool.
So. Some businesses grew because of it, and It's only tourism now. Some popular companies such as Saab and Volvo can all credit, and Motala can all credit Göta Canal with helping them grow.
Yeah.
So that's the story of Göta Canal.
That's cool, man.
Very
Thank you very
expensive
much.
wonder in Sweden. That was functional.
Takes money to make wonders.
For 50 years.
Yeah. That's sweet, man. Thank you so much. That was interesting.
Yeah, man. I
know that one.
Yeah. That's it, man. Thank y'all for checking this episode out.
Bli supporter.
Yes.
Det är väl det man vill. Bli Patreon. Det är lätt. Man går in på patreon.com/teachmesweden. Man pröjsar bara 10 spänn i månaden. Det dras från ditt kort. Du behöver bara göra det en gång. Tryck in dina biggity bappy beep beep digits. Sen dras det. Och 10 kronor är ingenting.
Nej.
Om tillräckligt många gör det, hörni.
Yes.
Då blir jag och Jonathan rika.
We can just keep doing it. We can buy our own canal.
Oh!
We invest Teach Me Sweden money in the canal.
Okej, om vi får 5 nya Patreons, då bygger vi en egen kanal.
I'm with it. All right. And you can email us suggestions. This was an actual suggestion from a listener. But email us at teachmesweden@gmail.com. In English for me, and in Swedish for Erik. And it has been Jonathan Rollins
och Erik Broström
teaching you Sweden.
Red!